Yeah, hi there. These comments are for SA, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at Stealth, the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. Thank you for completing the independent writing practice test number 30. You're also one of my students at California State University, San Bernardino. All right, so let's take a look at your practice test. So I got good and bad news. I'll give you the bad news first. The bad news is your thesis doesn't really match your body paragraph, so I don't think you really explicitly answer the question that you're being asked. So it was a little bit confusing there. The good news is you have very good control of your language use, your grammar, your vocabulary. You even use sources in the paper to help support what you're trying to say. That was not a requirement. You went above and beyond that. So let's take a look at what you say in your introduction. You say, in the modern times, communication is taking new forms, and slowly the traditional face-to-face communication is being outdated. Gone are the days where the only way to communicate would be using face-to-face communication. Instead of traditional communication techniques, people prefer to use letters, emails, or telephone calls to communicate. Especially with the new technologies available, it is easier to get in touch with a person by writing an email or calling his mobile phone. But then here's your thesis. You say, however, I do believe that using face-to-face communication is still better because it harnesses the ability of people to socialize and communicate spontaneously and confidently in front of other people. So you kind of assert that you prefer the face-to-face communication. That's what you're trying to do, is you're agreeing or disagreeing with the statement. So what you're saying is that you agree with the actual statement that it is better than other forms of communication. However, if you look at your body paragraphs, you say in your second paragraph, the advantages of communicating online are evident. But based on your thesis, you should be talking about how face-to-face communication harnesses people's ability to socialize. That's the first point in your thesis. Now, if we go to your third paragraph, you say virtual communication is slowly but surely replacing face-to-face communication. So I would say there, your second point in your thesis is face-to-face communication allows people to communicate spontaneously and confidently. So there's not a connection there. So you got a little bit confused. And I think what you should have done here, based on body paragraphs number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, is in those body paragraphs, I think you're arguing more about the benefits of other forms of communication, right? And especially technology. So you probably should have said, I disagree with the statement that face-to-face communication is not the best form of communication nowadays, especially with our current technology. All right, so your language use, though, is incredible. You have a lot of examples, but I don't think you have really explicitly and directly answered the question that you were trying to answer here. So I'm going to put you just under what I consider passing, 3.50 out of 5, or 22 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. So I think with your thesis and your body paragraphs, they need to have better connection. How do you do that? If you go to my writing lesson number 8, that'll show you different ways of making your writing what we call coherent. So I would recommend that you review that particular lesson and think about how you could have better structured the organization of your ideas. Now, for the purposes of our class, 3.50 is going to put you at 82% on this particular assignment. Anyway, thank you for completing the assignment, and keep up the good work.